What you waiting for? It's time. Time for love. It's time. Time for the sun and sand. It's time. Time for fun. It's time. It's time. It's time to let your hair down. Come on. Come on. Come on. To have no fear. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's time. What you waiting for? It's time. 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 What you waiting for?
Okay, welcome to another edition. It must be Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Merv Britto Show. It has been an amazing week, and we're coming close to yoga.
International Yoga Day.
International Yoga Day. And we have promoted all week. We've spoken so highly about this young lady that's in the studio with us today. I will introduce her in a little while. She's here for International Yoga Day. But first, I want you guys to say hello to the team. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Merv Britto team, the team that does all the work, and I get all the credit. The one and only Mr. Ajoy Barretto.
Hi, guys.
What you been up to, man? You've been doing a lot of stuff to get to where we are right now, Mr. Barretto.
A lot of moving of things around, as you see on the show.
Good. Hopefully things for the better. You know what? People are seeing changes little by little. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say hello to the one and only Mr. Wilbert Cardozo.
Hello.
Also known as R2D2. You got a funny mic, man, but it's you. He's... hello everybody. Willie, how you doing, man?
This is R2D2.
Have you practiced that?
No practice required.
He's finally got the joke.
The one and only Mrs. Joanne Britto.
Oh, thanks for waiting for me after my yoga class.
Oh, no, she didn't. That's true. That's true. Editor. My yoga class. Welcome, Joanne. How are you doing?
You know I'm nearly a guru, don't you?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. There's a couple of names I'll call you. One ain't a guru, but welcome. Thanks for being
You
here.
can move the letters around if you want.
Nobody's seen what Mr. Mataji looks like, but he's in the studio with us today. He doesn't have his headset on. But I don't know if you heard it the last time, Yusuf, I said thank you because you do good work, and I appreciate everything you do to put out the promos, to work so hard with Ajoy and Joanne, from the editing to the promoing to the graphics to all that good stuff. Sir, thank you once again. A big round of applause. Mr. Yusuf Mataji. Listen, we want to get right into this because there's loads to talk about on this International Yoga Day. We have been very excited to have the one and only. Can I bring her on now?
Why not?
She's been very nervous. Let's keep her that way.
No, don't do that. Don't torture her.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mrs. Priyanka Seagraves.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you, Mervyn.
We've been excited because I know you and I know your husband very well. And I've been very excited when we talked about Yoga Day, International Yoga Day. I couldn't think of somebody more apropos, more special that we'd love to talk to. So thank you for taking the time to spend with us. And we want to have I know you're nervous, but you are a natural. I always say this, and people come here thinking, oh my God, it's nerve-wracking. What am I going to do? They're going to ask me questions, and I'm going to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, and nobody has any wiser. There was a mistake right there. None the wiser. So chill out, relax.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good chat. Priyanka Seagraves, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions because you do yoga, and that's something that people have always been intrigued, something that people have always wanted to know. What's yoga all about? Is it exercise? Is it good, bad, whatever? Everybody does it. It seems to be a fad. So before we get into the topic of yoga, I want to ask you a little bit about you. You started off as Priyanka Ganguly.
Yes.
Bombay, where were you born?
I was born in First of all, thank you for having me on the show.
Pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah. I'm really excited to be here to talk about yoga myself and Goa.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. I was born in Calcutta, and I stayed very briefly in Calcutta, and then we moved to Bombay.
Oh,
Bombay is where I spent a chunk of my life,
yeah.
and
School, college, and all in Bombay.
college, all of that in Bombay. Yeah.
And what? So Bombay to Goa, that was a long time. When did you all move to Goa? How did you get to Goa, by the way?
So this is something I tell everybody I meet, that I really moved to Goa on an absolute whim. Like I upped and left home. And this was in 2016, at the end of the year, December. I moved to Margao to a friend of mine.
Wow, South Goa.
Yeah. And that's it. I never looked back.
But can I ask you? Normally, a lot of people come here from all over the world. They travel here because Goa is such a chilled out place. We want to go and party, whatever. Did you not do any vacations when you were living in Bombay? Did you just decide all of a sudden I'm going to go to Goa and move?
No. I did come to Goa a lot of times, especially through college with friends. Twice a year. But that was really different. That was when I was coming on these holidays and coming in this party mode, if you will.
Yeah.
But my move was for very different reasons. I went through a divorce.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided the city was getting too much. And so I decided to move to Goa. And I did in 2016. So next year it'll be a decade.
Wow,
Yes.
26 years. But why Margao? Margao's the south. It's a lot more, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, South Goa is beautiful, but everybody comes, I guess it's the nightlife, the happening part is the north, Bardes. What made you want to go to Margao?
So I had a friend in the south of Goa who really wanted to help me move to Goa. So I moved to Margao. And that's where I met some really great people in Goa, in the south of Goa, of course. And that's where it all started. And then I'm here now in the north.
What did you study that made you said you got divorced, you wanted to break from the big city. What did you study? What did you grow up studying?
I did my class 12. And
Anything specific you wanted to?
I wanted to take up arts, and I did. For a year and a half, I took up English literature.
Gotcha. Wow.
And so I'll tell you what, since we've touched upon it. I got married when I was really young. I had just completed 19, and I thought he was the love of my life, and he wasn't. And so I was studying back then, right? And so yeah, I did go to college briefly, and then I stopped because I was not in the best of marriages, and that's what happened. Yeah. So.
Listen, it happens to everybody. You're not the first, and you damn sure won't be the last. By the way, I didn't mention, guys, you're listening to the Merv Britto Show. It is a show, and Priyanka asked me about this. Is it only for Goans, or is it only for people with? The show is a show that can help anybody out there listening. You don't have to be Indian. You don't have to be Goan. You can be anyone from anywhere around the world.
Yes.
And have a connection to go, a vacation, family, whatever, background, history. We do the show, and you just mentioned you got married at a young age.
Yes.
It helps. There's so many questions, or there's so many impressionable young people listening. And if any of the people that we talk to, if there's anything they can say, any words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom they can impart on somebody listening, that's what we're all about. So it's not only Goa and Goa-centric and Goa positive plus. No, there's going to be things that you don't like about Goa, which we also definitely want to showcase.
Yeah.
But thank you for being on the show, and that's what the Merv Britto Show is all about, just highlighting things that are happening, good and bad, in Goa, give people a platform to help other people. So at a young age, you got divorced, you moved to Margao. What did you decide to do when you first come to Goa? How do you pay the bills?
So when I moved to Goa in 2016, I had saved up some money from Bombay. I'm being really honest and candid here.
Okay, that's what we want.
I saved up some money, quite a bit of money, so I had the privilege to make the move. And I did. And I was home for a while figuring out what I wanted to do. And I chanced upon a friend of mine who introduced me to someone who owns Snip here. Snip the salon.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I managed Snip from 2017 up until 2019. And that was my real big break. Thanks to Archana. That was my real big break in Goa. And that's what I started Goa with.
Wow. So in 17, a year after you moved here, you started working with Snip?
A couple of months, because 2016 December is when I really moved.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so only a couple of months later.
Yes.
And you were there for a very long time.
17 up until mid 19. Yeah. If that's a long time. Yeah.
But that gave you a lot of confidence, a lot of background. You made a lot of contacts. I know Priyanka well enough. I know her husband. He's a man of himself, the one and only Mr. Mark Seagraves. He's a very close friend of mine, or he is my best friend. I say that, and he's going to make fun of me. He's a twat. But I know a lot about you, and the reason I'm asking you is I don't know how you do it, but Priyanka, you are probably one of the most easygoing, approachable, friendly, kind, whatever. Working at Snips, you've met a lot of people. I have never met anybody who has more people that will go to bat kind of thing. They'll do anything for you. You made a lot of contacts. You've done a lot of good stuff for people.
Yeah.
You've always got like a lot of people in high places that you've met. Is that all through Snips? Is that through your career? What?
She's got a little black book. You know that, don't you?
A black book? What do you mean?
She has.
I will
She's
tell
got a
her
little
husband.
black book of contacts.
Yeah. No, she does. I know how many people they rely upon her. She does book launches and she does everything. She's like a freaking chef. She can do anything. How did you meet, or how have you befriended so many people that like these are big name, big time people, but you've met people from everywhere, right? Is this all at your career at Snips?
So throughout my life, I have met people who've been really great with me, and it's never mattered to me what. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was distracted. Yeah. So
Willie's telling me to fix my hair. Is my hair okay, Willie? Fucking R2D2. Sorry, say what you were saying, Priyanka.
So throughout my life, I have had this knack of being with people, around people, being really good with people, and I think that is what has led me to this black book, if you will. It's been, of course, Snip has been the cornerstone of all that, but it is really my the way I've lived my life, and I've met so many people in Bombay, in Delhi, from Calcutta, everywhere. But yes, I would credit some of that to Snip while I was working there. And
Yeah, but Snip's just a stepping stone. Snip's a platform. It gives you the opportunity. What you have done with it, what you've taken and done with it is all you. It's all Priyanka Ganguly in the past. And what you've done and how you've interacted with people, how you've treated people makes all the difference. And that's what made the impression on these people. These trusted you. They always want you to help them, work with them. Yes. Anything can go, they call Priyanka.
Priyanka's an open heart and an open soul, so people find her extremely approachable.
oh, thanks, John.
Yep. But the thing about it is now she is a business owner, partner, business,
Absolutely.
this thing. So Snips was the thing. What did you do anything after Snip? You were trying to soul search. What did you do?
After Snip, I was at home for a while because I needed to, again, sort of regroup myself. And I was at home and I did a bit of work here and there. Yeah. But in the main, I went and trained myself up to become a yoga teacher, trainer, whatever you want to call it. And I did. And that really is what changed my life, because it changed my perspective on a lot of things. So today, I really think that back in 2020, when I went and did my teacher training course, that is what really helped me after Snip.
Teacher training is in yoga?
Yes, TTC, yeah.
When was the first time? So had you done yoga before 2020?
Since I was a kid, really.
So this is not like I want to learn yoga. You did yoga as a kid unknowingly, basically.
Yes.
Who?
My mum. Oh. So my mum, when I was a kid, she would make us sort of practice. She would make sure that we exercise, and yoga was a real big part of it. And so that's when it all started, when I was...
We got to give a shout out to your mom, yeah? The one and only Mona Lisa. I don't know if you're probably not listening anyway.
Yeah, she is.
So, Ajay, you're distracted. You got some pictures up here that I want to show. Priyanka, we're going to talk about these. And like you mentioned, you started yoga from a young age with mom, but it wasn't, that's your mom. That's Mona Lisa, yes. The lovely Mona Lisa with some is that cotton candy or ice cream?
No, it's like marshmallow softy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You started doing yoga with your mom at a very young age?
Yes.
What made you decide, is that you?
Yeah, that's me and my sister.
Wow. Oh, you've got a sister?
Yes.
How many siblings?
Just the one.
What's your sister's name, by the way?
Tulika.
Tulika, you got to give her a shout out just in case she's listening. Where is that? Is that Tulika?
Yeah.
Okay, the one and only Talika. What you started doing yoga with your mom at a young age, but in 2020 you decided after SNP you were going to take a break and practice or get a degree kind of thing.
Yes,
What'd you do?
Yeah, so I went to the Shorao Island in Goa, which is beautiful. I went to the Yoga Institute, which is the oldest organized school of yoga in the world.
It's very well known.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you, and I love the way your husband, by the way, he doesn't say Shorao. You say it like a true Goan, but your husband can't say Shorao. He's always going to Charo Island. I went to Charo Island, so you can tell him I said that when you see him next. It's not Charo, Mark. It's Shorao. You studied yoga at the It's famous, by the way. It's probably one of the oldest yoga institutes in Goa.
Yes.
In Shorao?
So the one in Shorao is a couple of years old, but they started in Santa Cruz in Bombay, really close to the airport. It's a small institute, but it was started by Sri Yogendra Ji in 1918. And what I mean when I say it is the first organized school of yoga is that yoga is really vast, right? There are so many different things happening all over the world, but they compiled it all together. They created this curriculum that you study and you're with, and you teach that to your students. So that is why it's about 103, 104 years old now.
Did you say 1918?
Yes, in Santa Cruz, Bombay.
Wow, that is old. And I want to get into yoga. Listen, we're having you for International Yoga Day. We're going to get more into it, but before we get there, we're back to 2019. So tell me, you finished with SNP.
Yeah.
What are the next steps? I'm trying to get to get when you got married and before you became the partner in the new business that you're doing. When did you meet your husband?
I met Mark in 2017, 26th November 2017.
Precisely.
Yes.
Well.
Precisely.
Precisely, okay. You remember that date, okay.
Yeah.
Best day of your life, worst day of your life?
Best
I know
day
he's
ever.
listening.
Yeah.
2017.
Yes.
You guys met here in the north, right?
Yes. At a friend's restaurant. Yeah. He sang so I really like Mark Knopfler. So he sang Romeo and Juliet for me, and
you married him anyway.
yeah.
Oh, flip it, Nora. He does have a voice. I got to give him credit. You met your husband. You got married. When did you get married?
Last year on the 7th of October.
Happily ever after. Another one off the market.
Yeah.
Happily ever after. I want to get into the yoga. I genuinely want to get into yoga, but I want to know there's a picture of him. Look at that handsome devil. I'm talking about you, Priyanka. If you could only Photoshop that dude out of there, he's photobombing your picture. That is the one and only Mr. Mark Seagraves. You look so much like your mom in that picture, by the way. Wow, it's a lovely picture. You got married and then you decided what? Now you've done your yoga course. How long does it take? So we're going to get deep into it and the meaning of why we're celebrating International World Yoga Day. On a smaller scale, you started training to be a qualified and accredited yoga teacher. Is that what they call a yogi or whatever? What does it work? How does it work?
I would say a yoga instructor or a yoga guide, because I'm surely not a guru, but I teach. I am an instructor. Yeah.
Accredited?
Yes.
How many hours do you have to do, like hours and all?
Yes. So like I said, I went to the Shorao Island and I stayed there for a month. But the course was only 200 hours there. But I stayed for a whole month and it was beautiful. Absolutely stunning place to stay in, calm my nervous system down. That's where I did my 200 hours. And then from the same yoga institute, I did it online, the 900 hours. So
900 more?
Yes.
So that's 1,100 hours.
Yes.
And is that the accreditation you require?
Not necessarily. People do. You can do your 200 hours and then you can teach. But I really wanted to study further, so I did the 900 hours.
So after Shorao, you did a lot of it online. You mentioned you had a brilliant teacher.
Yes.
Who was your yoga instructor?
At the institute, or my reason to start teaching yoga?
Okay, we'll do the institute. Do the institute first. Who taught you there?
So at the institute, I had somebody called Amit Ji. And so I'll tell you a funny little thing. When I went to the institute first, everybody was calling him Amit Ji. And this is not something I'm sort of used to. So I would call, like I'd call you Merv. I wouldn't call you Mervin G, right?
You can. I know a Warren G.
So I found it really odd at the very start. So I would say, that Amit, he wanted something. And then the other teachers kept calling him G. And by the end of the course, and today while I'm here on the podcast, I cannot even imagine not calling him Amit ji and giving him that sense of respect, because what he's taught me has
Transformed.
Yes, he's something else.
Now, are you serious? Yeah. So the first time you do yoga, it's something you're not expecting, but it's mind blowing.
It's everything. It's a way of life. It's once you see it, you can't unsee it. I can't unsee it now. So it's difficult to really articulate it, but.
Is Amit ji like a yogi? Do you have to, like a sadhu? How do?
No, he's just like one of us, but he's obviously adopted that life completely because he lives on the island, and he teaches there. He eats sattvic food. It's really different when you.
What did you say? What kind of food?
Sattvic.
What is sattvic?
So sattvic is essentially vegetarian food that is good for your body. It energizes you, if you will. There are different, there's rajasic food, there's tamasic food, and there's sattvic. So rajasic is your meat, your food, onion, garlic, that gives you really high energy and you're ready to get up and start working. Tamasic is what makes you lazy, so that is alcohol and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I know that one. I know that one well.
And then there's sattvic food that is vegetarian in the main. Of course, it's vegetarian, and you don't eat onions, you don't eat garlic.
What?
Yes, Jain people have that.
The Jains do.
Yeah, but what it also does so when I was at the institute, I had sattvic food for a month, and I did not miss my meat. I did not miss anything, but what I felt is this energy in my bones, which I don't feel now because I'm back to life and back to the grind. But that kind of food really changes your mindset. It changes everything. So yeah.
When you how long had Amit ji been practicing?
Thank you.
Amit ji. No, it's a sign of respect. Listen, whoever's done these things and has accomplished it, you have to give credit where it's due.
Thank you.
It's not something easy. We take it for granted. We take it very lightly. But what these guys and women, I don't know, there are any yogis? Women yogis, no.
Yeah.
So what they have been able to do in their lifetime is a credit. Like, it's amazing. So I'm not going to take any. He's Amit ji. How long had Amit ji been practicing? Many
years.
Okay, so this is the Yoga Institute in Charo Island.
Yes.
Yes?
And if you go there, you'll get to meet him.
He's still there?
Yes.
That's Daryl's place, right?
Yes.
Okay. You did the 200 hours and you did some more stuff online. Mm-hmm. You mentioned you had an amazing lady teacher that taught you.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about her.
So she's been my inspiration really for teaching yoga, because she was my teacher, and back in 2018 I remember texting her so her name's Shraddha Vaikar, she's from Bombay, and I texted her that, Shraddha, I want to start practicing yoga again, but I want to lose some weight, and I hope I break into a sweat. So all she replied was, yeah, you will, just come on the mat. And I did, and I never stopped since then. So she's been my big inspiration. She's the best coach, trainer, guide, teacher. She's everything. In fact, before we did this podcast, I called her today and we spoke, had a little chat, and
What about? What did you have to call her to tell her you were going to do a podcast?
I did, yeah. So
okay.
I was just chatting up with her, and
is that this is just pictures of food? No, this is yoga. That's not Shraddha, is it?
That's
a yoga institute. So this is. I'm starting to say Charo, like your husband. It's Charo Island.
Yes.
This is the yoga institute. I've been there. We do the internet for these guys. Daryl, I know Daryl. He's a great guy. I didn't know that was that old and that established. So Shraddha lives in Bombay, and so you told her you wanted to do it, and she said, you know what, just get on the mat. Let's. So then you practiced with her for how long?
Every day for an hour. And sorry, Merv, I just wanted to say something. The one in Goa is not that old. It's a couple of years old, but the Yoga Institute by itself is 100 years plus.
Understood.
Yeah, the one in Goa is comparatively new. But sorry.
So shout out to Shraddha. She taught you an hour a day to get to your 900 hours?
No, I just practiced with her.
Continued on.
Yeah. So what she did is she really changed my perspective towards life, towards yoga, towards how I feel. So I'll be very honest. I still am sometimes, but in the main, I was a really anxious person. And I really wanted to get over that, and Shraddha and yoga have helped me get over that completely.
I'm blown away. I love this, and that's why me personally wanted to get information about this. You see these guys, there's the Kumbh Mela, you see all these sadhus and all these weird things they do, but these guys have been doing, yoga's been around for hundreds of years in India, originated in India, obviously, right?
Thousands of years. 5,000 years plus.
I said that. Did I say that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, whatever. The point I'm trying to make is I want to make sure people understand it's not a fad. You've got people that come here from all over the world to India, and it's normally a lot more sacred in the north. People come and practice yoga, or they learn in the north. Is that true? Is that right in saying?
Yeah, I mean, it is a hub.
Haridwar,
It is a
all
hub,
these
yeah,
places.
yeah.
And then they come to go and they get these accreditations. I know a lot of Europeans from all over Europe and the world that come here and then they go back and they make a lot of money teaching yoga.
Yeah.
You hear a lot about the scams and the Netflix issue, the Netflix shows I've seen about these guys that have been busted doing all their craziness under the guise of yoga. They've practiced, they've got these the sadhus that go and do all the mischief and get busted, and they make Netflix shows about it. I want people to understand that's nothing like what the actual yoga is supposed to be, right? You said something to me earlier, and I can't remember. You said something about the fact that for complicated people, yoga makes your life simple.
Yeah, it's really simple. Yoga is not complicated, but it is for complicated people. Like I was saying to you earlier on, that it's like your 10 commandments. You have it. Everybody knows what it is.
Yeah.
Right? So you see the Yoga Sutras, when you see the translated version, everybody knows what it is. I should live this way, I should eat this way, I should do this. But it is the part where you make it a way of life, that is difficult. Being on the mat, practicing, that's something everyone can do.
These guys do it, and I've seen pictures of the Kumbh Mela. They have it once every 12 years and 6 years. I know another Amit Ji. He's downstairs in the office. He's from Haridwar, and you can't say a bad thing about that place. But we were talking about the Kumbh Mela, and you have these sadhus and these sages and these yogas and yogis, whatever. They come and do all. There you go. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And as crazy as it seems, as crazy as it looks, these guys live, sleep, eat, and breathe their meditation and yoga, and they've done this, and they do crazy things that normal people couldn't do.
Yes.
You've mentioned about how important the food is, the 3 different types of food, your diet, like they say for any kind of athlete, 80% of your exercise and the shape you get in is your diet.
Yes.
The food has a huge impact on how you do your yoga and how it affects your body, right?
Yes, because how do I put this? Food is information, right? You're feeding yourself information. Food is information. So when I eat right, my mind works better. Now, although I'm a yoga teacher and I teach yoga, and I think that it worked really well for me when I was eating sattvic food. In today's world, it's different. We have different jobs, we live busy lives, so we go to the gym. If you going to the gym, you need to have your protein, ways of finding your protein without meat. But in the main, food is everything. So if you are practicing yoga, what it does is it clears your mind, sattvic food. So when my mind is clear, that is when I'm able to put myself in a position wherein I am able to sit to meditate.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm always distracted. If I'm constantly drinking coffee, and
Gotcha. So it's
wired,
the fuel.
Tired but wired.
Tired but wired. It's the fuel, what fuels your body, and you want the right fuel in your body to perform like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of myths, and like I mentioned earlier about Netflix and stuff like that. People come from all over the world. They do a lot of the yoga training in the north. Why do people, I'm going to start getting deeper, and I'm going to ask you more technical questions. Why do, first of all, a very easy question, why do so many people come to Goa to do yoga, by the way? Is it still as should as the north, as training in Rishikesh and all these places? Why Goa?
So 2 different things. The north, Rishikesh, Haridwar, all of these places, it's really sacred, disciplined. It's a certain kind of energy that you feel there. And yoga is all about energy, right? So if you practice, say, the room that we are in, if you move all of this and you practice yoga here for a month, and you get people in and you keep practicing here, you'll see the energy of the room changes. So it is. So in the north, obviously, that energy exists, and that has also moved to Goa now, especially more because it's such a cultural hotspot. So many people from all over the world coming to study here, and more importantly, Mervyn, that to practice yoga, I need to be calm. My nervous system needs to be calm, and I don't see that happening in the cities. But Goa offers us that. You live in Goa, I live in Goa. We love it because we are able to work and do all these things, but stay calm in the midst of all of that, which does not happen in Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta.
So can I ask you a question
Yes.
around that? Because you were talking about the energy in the north is different. So I think I'd mentioned to you before that a really good friend of mine in the UK, Tiku, who practices homeopathy, her and I are both huge fans of Ibiza, as is Mervyn. And she once said to me that the reason why Ibiza and Goa attract very similar people like hippies and people who are like into their yoga is because they're on the same kind of ley lines, which is about energy fields and chakras. And so she fascinated me by saying that. So I don't know how true that is, but it is very true that there is like an energy source and energy fields around the world. So you can tap into that when you're actually practicing yoga in different parts of the world. Is that what you were saying?
God almighty. Show me
What's
that picture
that?
again, dude.
The ley lines?
No, not the ley line.
Oh.
You spoke about Tiku. Sorry, Joanna, I interrupted you. Yes, energy makes a huge, huge difference. That's why I was so curious. Is it something you can only do in the north when you're in the north of India or whatever? You can do yoga anywhere, Priyanka.
It's portable, of
Yeah.
course.
So look at that pose. What is that called, by the way?
That is Dhanurasana, or the bow pose.
God damn, that takes a lot of muscle.
You're
No?
like a bow and
That takes muscle, dude. Jeez, oh flip! I couldn't do that.
Did Mark teach you that?
you wish.
He wishes. So your question was, Tiku mentioned
So,
what?
Yeah, about Ibiza and Goa sharing the same ley lines, which is why the hippies were attracted to Ibiza and also Goa. And obviously around that, there was many people that came to the east to obviously kind of explore. The Beatles came to Rishikesh in 1968 and they met a guru. And so there's people wanting to tap into those kind of energies to give their life more meaning, more perspective.
Yeah.
So I think that's what is lovely, because India is the home of yoga, essentially. And it's also being able to tap into that.
So they come here, practice yoga, and they take it all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting to. Goa is normally known as a party place. But back in the days, we talked to Walter Lobo a couple of weeks ago. We spoke to Joanna Perez last week, or a couple of weeks ago. And everybody comes to Goa for different reasons. Yes. You came here. You met your husband. You got married. You built so much of your life here in Goa, but it's for a different reason. When people come here and study yoga, you talked about ley lines and Ibiza and all these kind of things. The old Goa is very different from what we see now.
Yes.
The madness, the development, the partying, the nightlife, and all that kind of stuff. It only affects you if you're involved, if you're doing it. But how do you come to a place? You've got to really find a place that's got its calmness. You normally see people doing yoga early morning on the beach, right? So you can't be out partying, drinking, blah, blah, and then wake up to do yoga if you're going to do it seriously, right?
Yeah.
What makes Goa, I asked you this question, what makes Goa so special? So you think because of the fact that Goa was underdeveloped, or there are just loads of teachers, or it's cheap, or it's fun to live in, why do people come here to get accredited to go back to where they are to teach? Is it cheap?
It is cheap compared to the north. And but I mean, I don't see it as that. So you do know I have a salon now, right?
Yes, you do. We're going to get, I meant you to plug that, by the way. What is the name of the salon?
It's called the Salon Project.
In Anjuna.
Yes.
And it's a lovely place. It's right on the main road in what's the ad? Where in Anjuna? How do you describe it? It's at the junction, no?
It's very close to Babka.
Oh, you're going to
Everybody
plug
knows
Babka.
Babka,
Babka's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's way down from Babka.
It's close.
You got to go from Babka like you're going towards Anjuna. You cross the junction,
Yes,
and it's about
that.
100 meters on the right-hand side. It's a beautiful salon. You can go and say hi to Priyanka. Tell her you heard her on the show and you want to get into yoga. You can go there and get a haircut. I go there all the time to get my hair and my nails done. What's the name of the place again?
The Salon Project. And I brought it up because I meet a lot of people in Anjuna who come to the salon who are studying in Goa yoga.
Okay.
Right, so I meet a lot of people from all over the world who come there, who study, and then they go back to their countries to teach or to just practice. So I think Goa offers a lot of peace, a space where you are able to get up in the morning, do your yoga, eat the right food, be in that yoga frame of mind. Goa offers that, because if I'd go to Bombay, I wouldn't find that, right?
Too much going on.
Yeah, too much going on everywhere. So Goa has this little, it's like a little pocket of peace. And I think that is, and people enjoy coming here, right? You've got the beach, you've got everything that you want at your fingertips, and it's great. So that is the reason why I would like to think that people come in, study, and then go back and teach.
A lot of these people go back and teach, and you can actually make good money teaching yoga in the West. People that come, but when you go back and teach, it's more for, it's not, I don't want to use recreational, but it's more for exercise, right?
Which is the conversation today, that yoga is being looked at as a form of exercise, a workout, but it's so much more than that, Mervyn.
That's what I want to get into, by the way, Priyanka. That's what I want to dig deeper into. I am into sports. I love playing sports. I love the high, the sweat, the exercise, the fitness. Now, I've always brushed aside or laughed at, oh my God, yoga, what's that? You can actually, my sister Paula did yoga very young with my nieces Priyanka and an Arya. They did, I remember him doing the Surya Namaskar and all the other poses and stuff. And there was an old man, Mr. Bose, who at 90 years old, probably one of the most flexible old men I've seen. And yoga, unlike something strenuous where you've got to go lift weights or you've got to play something where you could twist an ankle or a knee or your back, yoga is something that is not only fitness, but it's also very good exercise, good for your body, good for your health, good for your mind. There's so many positive things, right? Tell me, I want to know, I'm asking you, it's not for any other reason that people do exercise, but as you get older, flexibility, by the way, as you get older, yoga can do these things for you, right? They can.
Yes, and yoga. So yoga, obviously, it has its physical benefits. You get good skin. You can lose weight. You can do all of these things that people want in today's day and age. But yoga is more than that. The benefits of yoga are not only restricted to your physical body. It is for your mind, because today our cortisol levels are all over the place. The stress hormone. So you are constantly stressed, and what we don't realize is we remain in that loop like a hamster in a wheel. And what yoga does is it calms your mind down. When your mind is calm, when you're sleeping well, your body repairs itself. So the physical benefits come to you automatically. Having said that, it is strenuous at times. Yoga has different kinds of practices and it can be strenuous, but you learn to sit with yourself, which is the most difficult part of the practice. Sitting with yourself, sitting in silence, sitting without being distracted.
Is yoga and meditation the same? Part of, similar?
So I'll tell you what, Merv. Yoga, the actual word is, in Sanskrit, it's called yuj. Yuj meaning a union or to yoke with something. I'm sure we've all read this on the internet. We all know this. So yoga takes you beyond the body. So it is believed that your body is your biggest obstacle. Mm-hmm. And how do I transcend my body to reach my mind in order to be free from all of this that is going on around us? So the Hatha Yoga, which is the classical yoga, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it says that I will make my body limber, I will work my body I will burn my body in the fire of yoga so as to be able to reach my mind. And once I reach my mind, then I am able to become one with the universe.
You said that to me in conversation, I don't remember when. You mentioned to me that yoga makes your body and mind and everything, it just makes you one, yeah? It's like...
Yeah.
When you're doing yoga, basically, you're focused on the moment. And is there a specific time you can do it for 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours? Yoga just basically calms you down and gives you that. You can go right back to work and go and be as strenuous or stressed out as you want. Is that what people take solace in doing their yoga daily, by the way?
Yes, and it's great when they do it daily for an hour. But, Mervyn, yoga is a way of life. And I know it's very common but it's something everybody says yoga is a way of life, but it is. When I open a cupboard, which is on top, I will inhale. If I'm bending down to do something, I will exhale. My breath becomes, my focus and my attention to my breath is all the time while I speak to you, while I'm driving.
Wow.
And thus, my anxiety goes away. I am free from all of this. I understand that nothing is different from me. You and me are the same.
So it's common sense. Listen, if you don't know about it, look more into yoga. Yoga is amazing because I know a lot of people that have done yoga and it's worked wonders. By the way, I want to ask you. My wife and my brother did Vipassana,
which is all about the breath. It's being in tune with the breath.
The breath.
Yeah.
The breath.
The breath.
Yes, what you breathe.
Because you're always going to be with the breath from the moment of birth until your last breath. That's what it's all about.
Wow,
and it's all about their mindfulness because obviously with yoga, it's been adapted in so many different ways, hasn't it? And, you know, everybody talks about mindfulness being like, you know, a kind of really trendy thing for people to be able to focus on. But so much of the yoga practices have been adapted into sort of other modern day exercises. And you just kind of feel like with Pilates and all of these different things, it's just different adaptations.
Modified.
Of, you know, the original exercise, the performative yoga.
You mentioned Vipassana.
Yeah.
Where did you do it from? Igatpuri?
No, Kolhapur.
What the hell? What did you say? Sharo?
Kolhapuri chicken. No, that's how I always remember it.
But you mentioned about your breath. They teach you in Vipassana how to breathe, how to focus, calm your mind. You got to eat veggie food. You got to wake up at some ungodly hour. You cannot have any interaction, no communication, all this kind of stuff for like 7 to 10 days. Priyanka.
So Merv, I have not done the Vipassana, but I do know, Joanne, it must have been really difficult because even if you're keeping quiet and you don't have your phone and you can't talk to anybody, the chatter in your head, did it stop?
No, it never stops. And that's the whole thing. They tell you your thoughts will come in and out, but don't pause and think about them too much. Don't try and analyze them. And they say, you know, you can't even take a pencil and paper in there because you're not supposed to be writing anything down. So even like keeping your eyes averted and not looking at other people so that you're not reading into how people are interacting with you. So say, for example, I walk into a room and smile at you, but you weren't really acknowledging me. Then I'll be thinking, why didn't she acknowledge me? What did I do? So then I become distracted. So that's what I found so fascinating with Vipassana, because you have to be only with yourself. It's only in your mind. And then the thoughts, they come and go, but you're not supposed to just dwell on them. And you think you're going to get something out of it. And you think you're going to like solve some problems or issues in your life that are blocking you, and then these other thoughts just keep rising up and you realize that they're deeply buried within you, but they just come up whilst you're just doing these meditations. It was fascinating and very emotional.
And to add to that,
Emotional.
It was indeed.
So what she's saying is right, that the thoughts never go away, then they keep coming. But what Amit ji and my teacher Shraddha and what I've learned through yoga is that the thoughts, like you said, will probably not go away immediately, but you need to sit back and observe them. And what we tend to do is we tend to get entangled with these thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's not smiled at you, you'll keep thinking about it and go into a spiral. But to observe your thought and to let it pass is what yoga is. You breathe through that, Mervyn. Breathe.
But
You've mentioned this. Sorry, you're saying something, Ajay.
I just want to add something here. I think regarding the chatter, Joe,
Yeah.
you know what that is, right?
What
It's
is
just
it?
Merv.
Just Merv,
That's just
yeah,
Merv,
of
yeah.
course, yeah.
The
That's why it
chatter's
was
never
so
going to
emotional
end.
for me.
Whose side are you on? You big head. No, all jokes aside, you guys have mentioned the breathing. You guys have mentioned the health reasons. You guys have mentioned focus, meditation, calming, all these good things they're very, very similar practices. I don't know. My wife did Vipassana. I couldn't do it, dude. There's no way in hell you can make me eat vegetarian food for 7 or 10 days. I'll give up everything. I don't mind everything else. But anyway, yoga and Vipassana, and all these different. By the way, how many different types of yoga? There's loads, right?
There's loads.
How many,
and,
approximately?
So you have your. So if you really want to divide it, there is the Bhakti Yoga, which is the path of devotion. There's Karma Yoga, which is the path of finding yoga in work. Then there is Jnana Yoga, which is wisdom. and then you have your Raja Yoga. So Hatha Yoga is a part of Raja Yoga, which is the royal yoga, if you will. And it teaches you how to finally attain enlightenment. And Merv, you said something. You said that I won't be able to do it.
No, I did.
Why not?
Man, listen, you could take away my phone, but to sit.
Not Vipassana. Why won't be able?
Oh, yoga I could.
Practice?
I want to do hot naked yoga. They got hot, sweaty, naked. You think I'm joking? I would do that. As I get older, I want to be more nimble. You know what I mean? Hey, I want everything to work.
Yeah,
You
but
want
you
them
don't
to
want sweat
be
spots.
attracted to yoga and not driven away from yoga.
Hey, what are you trying to say, mate? Have you looked at me naked? I'll send you a picture, Arjun.
Thank you. No, thanks.
I'm kidding.
Will that be
I
a
didn't-
doctored photograph?
No, shut up. I didn't say I wouldn't do yoga. I would do yoga, and I've always said, as I get older, as a sportsman, I've had injuries.
Yeah.
Swimming, zero impact. Yoga is probably one of the nicest, easiest things. You cannot injure yourself. It's good for your health. It's good for your mind. It's good for your body. It's good for your, right?
You can enjoy yourself, of course you can.
In yoga.
Yeah.
How?
Why not?
How
I
do
mean,
you?
there are so many postures that are difficult. So you have to be careful, which is why you need the teacher. Because otherwise you could just look at YouTube and start practicing, try to get into a headstand, which is not necessarily the aim of yoga, but people try to do it. So you need a teacher at the very start. So this is something I tell all my students. I was telling Mark earlier on today that my aim of teaching yoga is to eventually let my student be free of a teacher. You don't need a teacher for the rest of your life. I don't want to teach you till you're 60. Not because I don't want to, but because I want to teach you what I know, and then you make what you want of it and continue your practice of making yoga a part of your life. It's just, see, you said that you can make me eat vegetarian for 7 to 10 days. It doesn't matter if you eat non-veg. I eat non-veg. I stopped for a while and I started eating. I'm having a human experience. I can't take that away.
Extreme, yeah.
So I can teach, I can practice, I can do everything, but my human experience will remain the same. So.
You mentioned something very important that I said it in a different kind of a way, that you couldn't injure yourself. It is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very important. If you want to take up yoga, just like anything else, it is good to have guidance. You can't look it up online and try and think you're going to do it on your own. You may as well become a lawyer, learn how to do law online. No, you can injure yourself if you don't do it properly. And I love the fact there's a lot of people teaching yoga online, right? During COVID and all, you were doing your classes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that were teaching and learning yoga online, so that can be taught. But it's very important to mention, if you want to do something like yoga or all of these, what are they called? Types of, what are they called? These disciplines.
Okay.
Make sure you do it right. Make sure you got a trained professional teaching you what to do so you don't injure yourself, because that's important.
Especially at the start, of course, yeah.
And I love the fact that you said, I don't want to be your teacher for the rest of your life. And that's so cool, because it's not a business kind of thing. I'm not doing it to make money. I want to do it to help people.
Yes.
I want to get them on their feet, and then they can do it on them by themselves.
Yes.
Another thing I love you just mentioned, Priyanka, is that you mentioned it makes you one. It makes your mind, your body, it calms you down. You can have stress, you can have whatever. It can really, really change and transform people's lives. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Merv Britto Show. Thank you so much for listening to us. You can contact us. You can call us. You can WhatsApp us. We are on different social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp. On Amazon, we're going to do it sooner or later. We'll do a podcast format. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, not yet, but we will. We want to get to the point where we have people call and you can ask Priyanka questions or any of our guest questions. In the meantime, we're just recording the show. And we want you to be involved. Let us know what you think. We've had some lovely people comment on YouTube. We're only broadcasting right now on YouTube till we get onto Facebook and we can broadcast live. So if you want to get into us, all these social media handles are on the screen right now. You'll see comments and links in after the video below. So get in touch with us. Tell us what you think. We'll continue talking to the one and only Mrs. Priyanka Seagraves on this International Yoga Day. When exactly is it?
It's on the 15th of, we're
21st.
21st, yes, 21st of June. But obviously now it's the 15th, so 21st of June.
Thanks for screwing it up. Hey, you better edit
can
that out,
rewind
man.
that if you
You
want.
better edit that out, Yusuf. You heard that. What? Give me a marker. Okay, Priyanka, I want to get into another thing, yeah?
I had a question though.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so Priyanka, I just wanted to say, obviously you've had lots of inspirational people in your life.
Yes.
But I thought that rumour had it that when you shared that yoga class with my mum and myself at Yoga Dog all those years back in Saligaw, that we were inspirational people that led you to become a yoga teacher or want
Yeah,
to become a
you're the
yoga
reason.
teacher.
That was great, Joanne. Oh yeah, there we are.
You show a picture. Show me a picture. I want to see some pictures, dude. I want to see some pictures. So I would definitely listen, dude. I would definitely start doing some yoga. I will do some yoga as I get older. I want to get more flexible and stay in health. But
See,
if you've
look
got
how
a
professional she looked.
look at your mom. What's your mom trying to do? Hey, what are you doing, Carl? What the? Look, Joanne and Priyanka look like they're properly into the yoga.
No, but I couldn't
Carol
get
looks
the
like
pose.
she's a. Huh?
I couldn't get the pose like that. My mum's got sciatica.
Is she?
She
She's
was
got a
doing
couple
really
of other
well.
things
It
that
was
a
quite
doctor
an
needs.
intensive course, wasn't it?
I don't know about sciatica. There's a couple of other things she needs to go to the doctor for, but I'm going to get killed. Carol, I'm only kidding. That is you teaching yoga at the Yoga Dog, yes?
No, that's a class that we went for together.
Yeah, we were on a course, weren't
Yeah,
we?
it was the artistic yoga. It was something we were trying out at the time.
We did a 5-day course, didn't we?
yeah.
And so
Did you do it for 5 days?
yes. So the teacher came from Delhi,
Delhi,
didn't she?
yeah.
She came
Usha.
down, Usha. It was great. It was really great.
I firmly believe, and I hear when I want to promote this. I'm not trying to push anything. I just think that so many local talents and traditions that we take for granted. We're in such fast-paced lives nowadays. Everybody's busy working, trying to make money, pay bills, and survive. Yes.
Yeah.
This place, and we spoke to Joanna about this last week. About
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, sorry. Yusuf, another edit. These things that happen here in India, there's so many great things, mathematics, yoga, this, that, and the other that originated here.
Yes.
And they're not being lost, obviously, but over the years, you've had people try and do these things and spread them all over the world and stuff like that. People forget how important not just your physical mental health, your mental health, your diet and stuff is as you get older, but how you need to take the time to take care of your body, yes? How long every day, or do you have to do it every day, by the way? Do you have to yoga every day?
I mean, in an ideal world, yes.
How long?
You have to do it every day for an hour. You practice on your mat, but this is just the physical practice, Merv. Like I said before, and I'll maintain that, it's much more than that. So this 1 hour's practice every day is what is going to pull you to making yoga a way of your life. And I don't force my students. I have students who have busy lives, and then they come in for a bit. They try a class twice a week, and it's fine. I'm not going to be strict. I'm not going to tell them, because at least they're trying. And then I have someone who's so committed, who has a really busy life, and she'll make sure that she comes to class at least, if not at least once a week, she will make it to class. And I think that is the way forward for people to understand the benefit that it is giving to them. So the fact that she's coming once a week and she's running and she's calling me and she's telling me, listen, I'm going to join, just hold on. It must make some difference, right, to her headspace. It must give her peace from what she's doing otherwise. And that is what yoga does.
You said it changed your life.
Yes, completely.
So I want to get more into, I'm going to play devil's advocate now. You've got so many people, and I started this conversation earlier saying about how people learn and they go back. There have been a lot of scams. There have been a lot of the negative parts to yoga that give yoga a bad name. Yoga's not bad. You've had movies made, you've had Netflix series. There are so many different types of yogas. We mentioned some of the pure versions. All these different things that people do, and they do them in the West. In Hollywood, you can go and do something sweaty
Hot
yoga.
yoga. So you're talking about the scandal with Bikram, the hot yoga.
The show, yeah, that was a show about that.
Sure.
Are these actually? So how? That's not focusing, mate. You don't go into a classroom with a bunch of. You do. How does that work? Because I'm interested. I would definitely sign up.
Hot yoga is in a really hot environment. It's really heated up, and that's where you do these. I think 26 postures in total. That's what the Bikram yoga is about, but I'm not sure. 26, I think. But Mervyn, you have to understand that you said this earlier, that there are crazy things happening. So there's crazy everywhere. So yoga has been diluted to a large extent today, and so there's the crazy. You see that side of it, but it's not everywhere. So there's somebody I follow called Swami Sarva Priyananda. So he's part of the Ramakrishna mission in India. So he is a monk, and he's in Hollywood, and he's giving these sermons which are amazing to listen to. I listen to him while I'm driving. So there he talks about a lot of things about the the Bhagavad Gita. He talks about yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. He talks about the Vedanta, the Upanishads. So you can hear them. He's known as the YouTube Swami, but it's all right to take it and change it a little in the West for people to understand better. Mm-hmm. But yes, you also have these other things happening. And today you have a lot of things like beer yoga, goat yoga, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Is that actually, I mean, is there such a thing?
So I'll tell you what, in the intent to be unique, with the intent to be unique, it just sort of gets mixed up, and I have nothing against it. It's really sensitive, this topic.
Did you say beer yoga
Yeah.
and goat?
Goat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So what are you doing with the
There'll be
goat?
goats around, and you'll try to get into postures. So it's calming for your nervous system. and
Look it
all
up,
that.
Ajoy. I want
Yeah,
to see
there's baby
goddamn
goats.
goats.
They wander
Shut
around
up.
the class. They do. You've not
But you're
seen
trying
it.
to focus. You're not trying to look at and smell freaking baby goats.
They try
Bad
and
enough the
climb
guy in
on
front of
you.
you.
So,
Baby goat. It's called goat yoga.
Yes, and you've got
Yeah.
them wandering around the class.
yeah.
Priyanka, this is not how you focus.
Oh, this is beer yoga. This is
Oh, this
different.
this is right up my alley. Marky, I know if you're listening, man, you're shaking your head. I know you're thinking, why goddamn didn't I get into this many, many years ago? What kind of beer, by the way? No, I'm obviously I'm kidding. Are these proper yoga classes?
The classes, they want to do something different. They want to see. We are a very distracted world today, and also we're attracted by anything new. So people, like I said, with the intent of being unique, they're really diluting the meaning of yoga. And honestly, I find it very difficult to do that because, I mean, I've been asked on many occasions to be different, to do different things, to post on Instagram. That's just not my cup of tea, because I want to stay with my practice, and that is what I want to impart to my students. And
You keep it real. You keep it real. Listen,
I hope I do.
You know, but that's the thing, right? There's many ways, or there's many kinds of people that will use something. Is that goat yoga? You're distracting me. Look at that. What is that all about, dude?
You're
That's
distracted.
goat yoga.
That fucking goat eating that lady's hair. That's not grass, dude. That's blonde hair. Oh my goodness. You got it? Is it in Goa? It says G-O-I.
You don't really.
G-O-1.
You wouldn't do that
goats.
here in Goa, I don't think.
Priyanka, a lot of people modify it. You want to be different. You want to be something that
And
people
that's
might
fine.
be attracted to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, to each his own. You've got to be smart. You've got to be careful. Yoga's sacred. Yoga is something really you take seriously and you do it. It all depends on you and what you're trying to get out of it. And I love the fact you mentioned, I'm going to teach you to a point and you're going to take care of yourself. You can do something like this in the quietness of your own home. If you really set your mind to it, you can set it up and do it every day, as long as little as you want to, as much as you want to. And it's basically something you can do for free at home to calm yourself down, for your physical health, your mental health, your diet, your well-being. It's just all in one, yeah?
So I always tell this to Mark, that there are two things there are many things in the country, but two things I'm really proud of: the holistic wellness part of it, which is obviously yoga for me, and food, the Indian food. So these are two things I really stand by, that I'm really proud in my country. So
Absolutely. So you should be.
In what way? Say that again. Your Indian food?
holistic wellness,
Okay.
which has all come, a lot of it has come from India,
Yeah.
and food in India. So two things I'm really proud of my country. So yoga is obviously a part of that, something India has given to the world. And to tell you, in 2014 is when we started the celebration of the International Yoga Day, when Prime Minister Modi, he took it to the United Nations and he said that India has given this to the world. And the United Nations sort of said that yes, the entire world has benefited from yoga, the practice of yoga, which is why we started celebrating it as International Yoga Day.
What year was that? When did he make it official?
2014, I'm pretty sure.
Are you kidding me? We didn't have a World Yoga Day before that.
Wow.
Oh my. It's been around forever. She said thousands of years, and it's something that's amazing and sacred, and we should be proud of.
Yeah.
It is something that people all around the world do. You don't have to be any specific kind type. Yoga can give you whatever you want out of it, any meaning, anything out of it. You can get whatever you want out of it, right? Practicing yoga doesn't mean you're going to get one thing or the other. It's holistic. It's all encompassing.
Yes.
It basically gives you what you put in, as much as you do it or as little as you do it. Yeah. Is there any specific type of yoga that you do when you're young compared to old or?
So Hatha Yoga is what most people practice. It is I teach the classical Hatha Yoga. So I'll tell you what, Merv. We were talking about this earlier. In the 2nd century, Patanjali made these sutras, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Then in the 8th century, there was someone called Adi Shankaracharya who started talking about the non-dual philosophy. I won't get into all of that now. Having said that, it is only in the 19th century when yoga came to the householder in India. So that was by teachers like Krishnamacharya, that was B.K.S. Iyengar. I'm sure you've heard of Iyengar.
Iyengar, yeah.
Yeah, so B.K.S. Iyengar, he wrote the Light on Yoga. And then there was Pattabhi Jois, who started the Ashtanga Vinyasa form of yoga. And I don't know if you've heard of it. Sarad Jois, Pattabhi Jois's grandson, he continued the practice, the Ashtanga practice, and he recently died in the US. He was only 53 on a hiking trip, and that is a real sad thing for the yoga community.
He died at 53.
Yeah, of a heart attack.
Oh dear, that's sad.
Of a heart attack doing yoga.
No, it was a
that's the
hiking
thing.
trip.
Mate, no, I don't mean he was doing heart attack on a freaking hiking trip, but he passed away from a heart attack. But there must have been some extenuating circumstances, because if you're in shape and you're doing yoga,
Yeah, but Merv, that's the thing. It's your body. It's just your body. I mean, you can try to keep it really healthy. You can try to keep it well oiled, but it is still a human body, and you could get any amount of diseases, and it will perish. And that is the aim of yoga, right? To go beyond the body. That I am not my body. I am something beyond that. That I am one. Go on.
No, I was going to ask you, is there like a specific book? Is there, so people can, obviously you can look online and read all about yoga and how to do yoga the right way, the wrong way. Is there, like you mentioned the Bible and the commandments and all, in yoga, are they called chakras? Or there's list of, you mentioned Ashtanga, Hatha, all these different types, and people that have taught these different types, right? If you want to get accredited, is there a specific qualification? You got to get a diploma. What you do, certain number of hours?
Yeah, so you start with your 200 hours. There are people who do their masters in yoga from I think the University of Bombay has a master's in yoga. So you can do that. There are different ways to study the subject, but to be able to teach, you can do your 200 hours, and then you can start teaching healthy people if you've just done 200 hours. And then I personally feel that as you continue teaching, you understand bodies better, you understand minds better, and your own practice and your own teaching gets better with time. The 200 hours, 900 hours, that's just a little bit of philosophy, a little bit of the postures that you study. And then in my own practice and in my own teaching, I've modified so much for different kinds of people, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
How often do you do yoga?
I practice twice a week now because, like I said, I have the salon. I teach classes. I teach a couple of classes.
Yoga classes, yeah?
Yes. And so my own practice is twice a week, and I sit with my books and I read and I practice, and I go to the gym. Yeah, I do.
And you go to the gym. So you do yoga and you go to the gym.
Yes.
Is it
Because
required? Is it necessary?
I mean, you can still build all of those things with yoga, but I do believe that for women especially who are going through perimenopause, who are going through menopause, resistance training is really important, and at the cost of being really murdered. But you can't compare the two, resistance training and yoga. You need to lift weights and you practice. Like I said, for me, yoga is all about my mind and my headspace. So the physical practice of yoga helps me keep myself healthy in my head.
Can I ask you how many postures or poses you would do in a normal yoga practice?
In a normal class, so what we do, it's a really good question, Joanne, really, because what you do in a class is you work up to a posture.
Yeah.
In most classes.
That's right, yeah.
So you'll do different sorts of warm-ups to be able to peak to a posture. It's not necessary, it's not on all days that I do that, but say I'm doing a back bending class, I will start I will open my shoulder, I will open my hips, and then in the end I will perform the chakrasana, which is you look like a U. Inverted U. So that's how it works. You will warm up and then you will peak to a posture.
Because I think that's what's not understood by a lot of people. They just think you go into the downward dog pose, straight into it and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Merv was alluding to, like how many postures and poses you have to learn to become a practitioner.
There's loads, dude. The name downward dog. Is that downward dog?
Yes.
Upward dog.
Yeah.
Here dog, sit dog, heel, nothing of that. I was going to ask you, by the way, if you do yoga, do you have to go to the gym?
Do you have to?
Yeah, so for people out there, I'm asking a question that a lot of people, and maybe me, one of those people, if as I get older, I want to maintain and I want to retain the flexibility of a sports person with all the sports. I can't do a lot of the stuff that I used to do. If I do yoga, obviously to maintain my flexibility, fitness, do I need to go to the gym and lift weights, or yoga should be enough, right?
You don't need to go and do anything, but yes, like I said, you can't compare the two really. I mean, there are a lot of teachers who are going to say that no, yoga is enough, and it is in many ways, because especially if you're practicing something like Ashtanga, wherein you are really using your triceps, your biceps, you're really working on those muscles, it's fine. But I personally feel, and this is only my opinion, that going to the gym, especially for women, more so, is really important, because as we age, we lose muscle, and I want to be, and we live in a world where a lot of us are, alone. We don't have kids. And when you are 80, you want to be able to get off your couch. You want to be able to get something down. So you need that muscle, and this is a personal opinion.
No, but it's good. It's true. It's kind of true. Listen, that's yoga and the gym are two separate things.
Yes.
You got to find your own balance.
Yeah.
This show is going to air during International World Yoga Day.
In advance of
World Yoga Day. And I thank you so much. You've been so informative. You've been so kind to share your time and enlighten us about what this is all about. And I want you guys have loads of opportunities to ask questions. So you can ask Priyanka lots of questions when we post this episode, and she will answer them. Priyanka, you can go and meet her. She's in North Goa at this, what's the name of the salon?
The Salon Project.
The Salon Project. I go and get my hair done all the time. They gave me a discount. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been such a pleasure. I thank you once again.
Thank you, Merv.
You've been absolutely awesome. If you've got any questions, you can post them in the links below, or in the segments below all our social media. You can ask us questions. You can make suggestions. You can tell us if you're curious to find out anything. You can ask Priyanka questions. She'll answer them for you. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Merv Britto Show. Once again, I thank you for joining us. Who are we having next week, by the way? Anybody special you want to promote?
It's going to be a surprise.
Surprise. I thank you guys once again.
What are you going to do for San Joao? That's what I want to know.
For San Joao, I am going to find a nice deep well, and I'm going to jump into it, and I'm going to expect loads of alcohol. Why are you laughing, Willie? What the fuck? You can have the fruit. I want the booze, baby. For San Joao, you jump into somebody's well, and they have to, right? They've got to give you booze? They got to give you alcohol, right?
Yeah, it depends.
What do you mean depends?
Like if you want to drink alcohol, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Does a fat baby fart?
Yeah.
You're asking me if I want to drink. Does a shark shit in the sea? Do you want to drink? What do you think I'm jumping in a fucking well, risking my life for, man? Yeah.
We just finished a yoga show, mate.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But I'll tell you one thing, though.
Yes, sir.
I promise you, Merv is going to wear those flowers that they wear on San Joao. I'm going to make that happen for you guys.
Are you serious?
AI, here we come.
No AI, the real thing. My man Willie's going to set this all up from ceiling, right? They have those lovely things there made there.
Whose phone is that? Somebody's phone ringing. Is that a phone?
That's all right.
Only a sound effect. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, who is that? That's a
my
sound
mama
effect.
was.
Joanne, you're going to get fired. It is San Juan, and it's going to happen very, very soon. You can tune in. We're going to do a special show for San Juan. It is a very common local holiday here in Goa that people take very, very seriously. It's going to happen in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, the one and only Miss Priyanka Seagraves has been kind enough to share her time with us, and I thank you once again.
Thank you, Merv.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on another episode of the Merv Britto Show very soon. Next Sunday, as a matter of fact, yeah? See you guys. Have a great week.